All right, so now we have our object selection tool, which is the fourth tool in your toolbar. Shortcut W. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. You'll notice before I get started that it has the same selection options, or the same tool options, pardon me, as our lasso and rectangular marquee tools. So adding selections, each one is a new selection, remove from selection, and intersection. But since I've already covered those with the other tools, I'm not going to really go over that here. I'm just going to leave it so that each new selection is a, new selection. So how this tool works is basically you select the object that you're trying to select, and Photoshop calculates what it is that you're trying to grab. So if I let's say we want these 4 like orangish, sort of dirty brown windows here. If I click and very roughly draw around them, Photoshop will calculate that this is the object that I am trying to select. You'll also notice that I can change from lasso mode to rectangle mode, and this basically, instead of clicking, holding, and drawing a selection area, you can just click and drag a rectangle around the selection, and it'll try to grab it. That was a little less accurate. There we go. And that's about it for our object selection tool. Next, we have our quick selection tool, and this basically allows you to paint a selection area by clicking, holding, and dragging around. So go ahead and Control D, and you'll notice that as I click, hold, and move my mouse around, I'm picking up more areas. What Photoshop is really looking for is areas with similar colors and hard edges, which is why this tool works so well for things like buildings. Go ahead, Control D. Another good thing to note about this tool, the quick selection tool, so let's say we grab this, but we want to deselect this bottom row. You can come up here, change to subtract area, and then click and paint away the areas that you don't want selected. If you click up here, this will just change it so that each time you click is a new selection. Well, the first time you click is a new selection, but you can see after I create my first selection, it'll automatically change to this plus tool. So the easiest way is to just Control D to deselect when you want to make a new selection. The final tool in our object selection tool group is the magic wand tool. And again, you'll notice similar tool options. What this tool does is it basically tries to make a selection with a single click. So if I click here, you'll notice it kind of grabs everything that's the same color in this little group. That's not a great selection, so one thing you can really play around with the magic wand tool is the tolerance, and this basically tells Photoshop how much different from your clicked on point the selected area can be, if that makes any sense. So a higher tolerance means larger selection areas. There's more wiggle room in what you're looking for from that original click. So let's just change the tolerance to like 35 and see what happens. So now when I click, you'll notice we got this box a little more fully. You have to be careful though, because if you put your tolerance too high, let's say like 80, and now if I try to click, the tolerance is so great that it's selecting every sort of similar and really some dissimilar hues in all of these buildings. Go ahead, Control D. Change this back down to 20, just for my own personal uses later. And really, that does it for our object selection tool